doesn't love a crispy, sweet, melt-in-your-mouth fruit pastry? I'm not gonna lie, I do get a craving for these things sometimes, and the best way to deal with that? Easy. I just make my own sweet pastry recipe right at home. So for the custard, all you need to do is bring 2 cups of semi-skimmed milk to a boil in a saucepan. Add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla and 3 heaping tablespoons of honey. And make sure to keep an eye on it so it doesn't burn. In a separate bowl, add 2 eggs to 1½ tablespoons of corn flour, and then whisk it up. Once the milk is lightly bubbling and hot, pour a tiny bit into your egg corn flour mixture, and don't forget to keep whisking, otherwise you might end up with some really horrible looking scrambled eggs. Ew. Gradually pour in the rest and keep whisking. Once it's all mixed well, pour it back into your saucepan and let it simmer on low heat, stirring frequently until it thickens up. You want it to be just thick enough to coat the back of your spoon. So now you can set your custard aside to cool and focus on your pastry. For this recipe, I used 12 sheets of Phyllo pastry. For each batch, I layered 6 sheets on top of each other to create a crust with just the right amount of thickness. But if you do prefer a lighter, more delicate crust, you can use fewer sheets. It's up to you. Gently pull the sheets apart, and with a pastry brush, lightly coat each sheet with olive oil. Place a new layer on top of your lightly oiled sheet and then repeat. And once you're done, you can just get a sharp knife or a pizza cutter and cut the pastry into 6 evenly sized squares. Then you can lightly oil your muffin tin and push each pastry square down gently so that it sticks firmly to the muffin mold. Get your pastry into the oven at 180 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes. And don't forget to keep an eye out on the color because you want them to be lightly golden, you don't want them to be any darker. So once your Phyllo cups are out of the oven, you can start putting everything together. Pour in about 2 tablespoons of custard, and then you'll need a cup of fresh berries for the fruit component of the dish. Berries are my favorite. They're sweet and tart, and it complements that creamy custard and the crispy pastry so well. So choose your favorite type of berry and then start topping off your custard. So the final step is to get out some apricot jam, and preferably one that's just a pure fruit jam. Try to stay away from the ones that are like sugar-free or sugar added because, just a pure fruit jam will do the trick. So get your jam into a small saucepan and then heat it up on the stove until it melts. If it's still quite thick when it's melted, just add a tablespoon or 2 of water to lighten it up a little. With your pastry brush, lightly brush the melted apricot jam onto your fruit topping, custard, and the Phyllo crust to give it a beautiful glaze. That's the secret to making it look bright and shiny, just like the pastries you see in a bakery. You'll feel so much better about indulging in this light and wholesome treat. And think about it, there's literally no sugar in this dessert, and it's perfectly sweet and delightful. And that's just the kind of dessert that I love. For more recipes, visit us at thefoodhacks.com. Be the first to see all our new YouTube videos. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.